Hi Doctor, we are from Group 3 and for this video we would like to present our group project. Our title is Purchasing of Residential Property and this is our group member. They are Lee Jing-Sing Nicole, Ang Sghh, Chai Chuan-Yi, Lee Yi-Jin, Neo Jun-Long and Ng Sina.
In acknowledge the success and final outcome of this report require a lot of guidance and assistance from real estate negotiator from IQI Realty Sendirian Berhad, which is Sunny Low Yong Sun and our friends. Besides, big thanks also to the solicitor we interviewed to, which is Richard Tan Wu Chow, and lecturer as well. We were extremely fortunate to have this all along the completion of our report work. I respect and thank Dr. Farin Ayan binti Ismail Kasim for giving us this opportunity to do this assignment work. In this assignment, we learned a lot which we can't get from our daily studies. This indeed helped us a lot in our future work when selling or purchasing a residential property. Thanks Dr. Farin for lending her hand when we face a problem. This assignment or report cannot be completed without cooperation and efforts of all members. All of the members give their 100% cooperation in this assignment to do the best. Although we face some problems in the process, we successfully completed it as well. Our group members are Lee Yi-Jin, Ang Sghh, Ng Sina, Lee Jing-Sing Nicole, Neo Jun-Long and also Chai Chuan-Yi. A very big thanks to all of the group members who put efforts in this report. Introduction. Our group has been given an assessment by Dr. Farin Ayan binti Ismail Kasim. Our group needs to have a case study on purchasing a residential property. The residential property we choose is a landed house, which is corner lot single-story property that located at Taman Setia. It is located at Tangkak, Johor. It has a total area of 1,960 square feet, while the total built-up space is 1,056 square feet. Tangkak is a district located in the northwestern area in the state of Johor. Taman Setia in Tangkak is a prosperous area which is surrounded by residential properties and commercial properties as well. Subject property is a freehold property which is also a real property. Furthermore, we also need to include the process which we could demonstrate from the beginning till the end of purchasing process. It will include 7 stages. Other than that, the return on investment also need to be calculated in the report. Return on investment is used to determine the financial gain or loss of a project with reference to its cost. Return on investment is a very important aspect which can determine the return in positive or negative for the specific property. The possibility of risk on property also need to be included in the report, as Taman Setia Tangkak is a prosperous area and subject property market value also increased from 260,000 to 450,000. The particular explanation will then lower the possibility of risk for the property. In a nutshell, the assessment given needs us to get information and comments from real estate negotiator and licensed lawyer. To be honest, this is challenging work for us, but real estate negotiator Sunny Low Yong Sun from IQI Realty Sendirian Berhad and the solicitor Richard Tan Wu Chow willing to guide us and give us their comments in the process.
Next, 2.0 objective. 2.1 General Objective. The major goal of this research is to investigate the entire process of purchasing a residential property. In addition, the objective of this study is also to determine the return on investment for residential property. 2.2 Specific Objective. The main purpose of this research is to examine and document the entire process of purchasing a residential property. The studies that we focus is on residential property in Tangkak, Taman Setia, Ledang, Johor Bahru, Johor. The types of the building that the investigation is single-story house. In addition, a lawyer and an estate agent will be invited to this study to discuss the entire process and specify of purchasing residential property with us. Furthermore, we also carry out return on investment ROI calculation stage in the study and carefully illustrate this data with the help of lawyer and the estate agent. We continue with 3.0 case study. Tangkak is a district in the northwestern of Johor, Malaysia. Daerah Tangkak has an area of 970.25 km square and had an estimate population of 136,852. It was upgraded to Daerah Ledang in 2008 and making it the 10th district of Johor. On December 7, 2015, it was officially renamed Tangkat County. It is often heard that Tangkat is called Cloth City. This name is derived from the fact that there are many shops selling clothes and sardine along the whole street. Next is the detail about the subject property. The address of the subject property is Nombor 80 Jalan Sedia 5, Taman Setia, Tangkat, Ledang, Johor Bahru, Johor. The subject property is located in the corner side. The subject property has a land area of approximately is 1,960 square foot and a built-up space of approximately 1,056 square foot. The subject property has 3 rooms in the house, which is include one the master room and the other 2 are ordinary rooms. Next, this residential house also has 2 toilets. One is in the master room and one are on the right side of the normal room. In addition, there is a large living room and small living room inside. Kitchen, parking lots and the corner gardens also are the parts of the property. And the types of the tenure is freehold. The residential house is sit south facing north direction. The buyer had previously purchased this residential single-story house at 265,000 ringgit Malaysia. The current rental price of this house is 40 ringgit per month. In addition, we confirm that the owner sold this house at the price of RM 360,000 ringgit Malaysia. And the amenities near this residential house include Taman Negara Johor Gunung Ledang, 99 Speed Mark, E-Concept, Gunung Ledang Resort, and other attraction place. There are many schools nearby the subject property, such as Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Cina Sunceng, Tatika Penyayang Pijat, Tatika Jaya Cetek, Sekolah Jenis Kebangsaan Cina Yuming, and others.
Next is the process demonstration for handing over or transferring ownership while purchasing a residential property. Once the interested purchaser has identified the subject property, which is a single-story corner house, the first stage of the purchaser will need to undergo is paying a down payment or an earnest deposit of up to 3% of the property purchase price to the vendor's appointed real estate agent. This deposit indicates the property purchaser's engagement to ensure the deal goes through. In general, the real estate agent or appointed solicitor is the neutral party who holds the earnest deposit in escrow before the transaction is completed. After paying the earnest deposit, the property purchaser should then begin searching for the best loan option. A proper preparation of the mortgage loan documents is important in ensuring that the purchaser's loan will not be rejected. The purchaser may seek assistance from a bank loan solicitor who will be able to assist in applying loans and following up with a few banks. Upon confirming the acceptance of the mortgage loan from the bank, the first document that the purchaser will need to sign is letter of offer or facility agreement, and then signed by the vendor of the residential property as well. The letter of offer is a document which sets out a purchaser's initial desire to purchase and a vendor's willingness to sell the property that commits them to the transaction of the property. The letter of offer also states the mutually agreed selling price of the property, the terms of payment, relevant furnishings, and other agreed terms and conditions, as well as the date by which the SPA should be signed. With the letter of offer and a copy of the title deed, the purchaser has to engage a solicitor to prepare a draft of the SPA within 14 working days from acceptance of offer. The SPA is a legally binding contract that provides the blueprint of the property and the agreement between the purchaser and the vendor. The purchaser is usually given a grace period to sign the SPA within approximately 2 or 3 weeks from the payment of earnest deposit above. Prior to signing the SPA, the purchaser's solicitor should conduct a land search at the land office to verify ownership of the property and determine that the owner is in fact who the purchaser is dealing with. Besides, the purchaser solicitor should conduct an IC search and bankruptcy search towards the purchaser before signing the SPA. Upon signing of SPA, the purchaser needs to pay the balance down payment of 7% to the vendor through his solicitor to basically make a total of 10% down payment. Once the SPA is completely signed by both of the purchaser and vendor, the solicitor will send the SPA to the LHDN for stamping purposes. Then, the purchaser solicitor will log a private caveat form, which is Form 19B, to the land office together with the vendor's affidavit after entering into a legally binding contract. The balance purchase price of 90% must be paid within 3 months from the signing of SPA for freehold property. One of the final documents, which is a loan agreement, must be signed between the bank and purchaser of the property to confirm the financing of the purchaser's home loan. This is the last chance for the purchaser to evaluate and ensure that the loan amount, interest rates, and the tenor are forming the right financial basis for purchasing the property. The purchaser solicitor should also review the document to ensure that the bank's terms and conditions are standardized and acceptable. Upon signing the loan agreement, the purchaser will need to pay legal fees, a stamp duty, and the cost of creating loan agreement. The final document that the purchaser will need to sign is the Memorandum of Transfer prepared by the purchaser solicitor, in which Form 14A is used for individual title. Both parties must sign this document to proceed with the ownership transfer from the vendor to the purchaser. Once the balance of the purchase price has been fully paid to the vendor, the name of the new proprietor would be entered on the title, and a new title would be issued by the land office. However, the purchaser has to make payment on stamp duty charges applied to the registration of Memorandum of Transfer. The purchaser solicitor will then proceed to ensure that all of the property's outstanding fees, such as assessment and quit rent, are paid up to date, and the documents signed are in order before the balance payment of 90% is released by the purchaser to the vendor's solicitor. Once the purchaser's bank loan is drawn down and the balance purchase price has been paid, the vendor must deliver vacant possession of the residential property together with keys within the number of days specified in the SPA. Both party solicitors will meet up to complete the transfer process. The real estate agent will also conduct joint inspection and handover of the property to the prospect purchaser.
Hi and good morning, Doctor. My name is Sghh. Now I will present the interview result. In the interview session, we are honored to have a real estate negotiator and solicitor help us to verify our report related to the process of purchasing subsale residential property. The name of the real estate negotiator is Sanin Do Yong Sun. He is a real estate negotiator. Meanwhile, the name of the solicitor is Richard Tan Wu Chao. The first comment is related to the signing of a letter LO. The estate agent negotiator emphasized the earnest deposits need to be paid to the vendor before the purchaser apply for the loan. The reason is that the purchaser already paid the deposit to the vendor, it can secure the unit or the property they want to buy, or avoid the vendor selling the property to another purchaser. And after paying the earnest deposits, the banker can start to find the banker to apply for a loan. Only if the banker approves the loan, the bank will send the purchaser a letter of offer or facility agreement with the instruction to meet the purchaser's solicitor. Then the purchaser solicitor will prepare a loan agreement for the purchaser to sign. The second comment is related with the signing sale and purchase agreement. The estate agent negotiator add on a financial loan or mortgage need to be applied before signing the SPA. After the purchaser's banker approve the loan or mortgage, the purchaser will engage a solicitor to help the purchaser prepare the sale and purchase agreement, and the purchaser and vendor will need to signing the agreement in front of the solicitor. The next interview session is with the solicitor, Richard Tan Wu Chao. We make an interview on 12 January in year 2020. Also, before the interview, we sent our report early to him for verify, and he give us some comment or add on some suggestion in our report. The first comment he give to us is when the purchaser purchasing the property, the purchaser need to find a solicitor to help them to do all the related handling documents such as do the land search, bankruptcy search, and identity card IC search. He mentioned it is important to do the land search because need to ascertain the property details such as owner of the property, whether the property is sold with vacant position or subject to the existing tenancy. He add on the bankruptcy search is very important also. The solicitor need to know it because the purchaser who is bankrupt cannot buy the property and also will not pass the loan by the bank, and the solicitor will through the Director General of Insolvency DGI to check the conduct of debtor. For the IC identity card search is need to obtain because need to the detail of the purchaser and vendor such as full name, address, income tax number, and so on. For the second comment, the solicitor say when the purchaser has passed their financial loan, the purchaser solicitor will need to help the purchaser to log a private caveat after entering into a legal binding contract. The reason to log a private caveat is because need to provide a safeguard for the purchaser to ensure that the purchase of property has protect against the owner selling it to another party. So the purchaser solicitor will submit the Form 90B at Land Office and require the purchaser to complete the details such as name of relevant register, relevant fee, and so on. Then the solicitor will conduct land search again to ensure the private caveat has been entered. In the third comment, he emphasized that the importance of Memorandum on Transfer (MOT). He say MOT is crucial because it is a document which legally confirms the actual transfer of ownership, and also the final document a purchaser need to sign. The solicitor say this document must be signed by both parties to transfer title for renter to the purchaser. The purchaser solicitor will forward the valid and registered MOT in favor of purchaser. Purchaser solicitor also need to forward the current year, quick rent, and assessment receipt upon receipt from the vendor, solicitor, and other necessary documents. Upon signing of all the documents, the purchaser will need to make the final payment on their legal fee, stamp duty, and other charge. The purchaser solicitor will only make the financial to release balance purchaser price to the vendor after ensuring that everything in order and obtaining the vacant position. Lastly, both party solicitor will then prepare the necessary document to acknowledge the exchange of money. Then the key handover can be done. That's all about our interview result from the interview session with the real estate negotiator and the solicitor. Thank you.
Investment ROI. ROI is used to forecast the probability of getting a return for an investment. This is a ratio expressed as a percentage, which is the profit gain for a project divided by the cost of investment. So here is the formula. In order to find ROI, we will take the amount gained on the investment minus the cost of investment and to find net profit. And then we will use the net profit divided by the cost of investment and multiply by 100% to find ROI. The property that we choose is freehold single-story residential property. The property was purchased at 265,000 ringgit in 2019, and 2 years later, it will dispose at 360,000 ringgit. In order to arrive ROI, we first calculate the net profit for the project by taking the disposal price 360,000 ringgit deduct the acquisition price 265,000 ringgit. So the net profit that we gain is 95,000 ringgit. And then we will use the net profit gain divide the cost of investment, which is 265,000 ringgit, and then multiply with 100%. So the ROI that we get is 35.85%. Since we get a positive ROI, which is 35.85% in the investment of purchasing the residential property, we conclude that this is a profitable investment because the yield that we get is more than the cost of investment. There are possibly due to some reasons. First, the building is well maintained and equipped with upgraded mechanical system, windows, roof, and entrance doors. This is corner lot property which has spacious unit and the land area is bigger. Thirdly, it is strategically located at Taman Setia, which is easy access to different areas such as education hub, grocery stores, and there are also numerous commercial initiatives are located nearby. The great location makes the property enjoy capital appreciation. Hence, it is not surprised that this residential property can yield a high return on investment, which is 35.85%.
Hi, I'm Neo. Now I'm going to talk about the possibility risk justification for this report. So firstly is the difference of interior and exterior cost of depreciation. So we know that this property is not a new developed property. So it has stayed for a few years. So field depreciation will be a common in this property. So as a purchaser, we must take the risk to repair or restructure the property. And second is the unstable of rental and returns. So we know that the COVID-19 pandemic still haven't going to end. The rental will be unstable. Now we know the market rental is about 400 ringgit, but for the future, when the COVID-19 pandemic haven't finished yet, the rental still have their movement and will become unstable. For the third is the impact of property price from economic factor. So now we know the market value of this property is about 450,000, but from the effect of the economy that caused by COVID-19 pandemic, we cannot assume what will happen in the future. So it could have the risk that the price will depreciate if the economy become bad. Lastly is the changing of loan interest. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we know the interest have become lower a few times, but when the economy become better, the interest will become higher. That will cause some stress and decrease the profit of the investor. So lastly, we come to the conclusions. So firstly, the conclusion in summary, we know the property details is this property is a corner lot which is stay at 80 Jalan Setia 5, Taman Setia, Angkat, Johor, which have a total area of 1960 square feet with a calculated return on installment of 35.85%. Other than that, from the guiding of professions, we have summary the purchasing residential property is the payment earnest of deposit. Second is the sourcing of financial. And thirdly, start with the signing the letter offer. And fourth, also signing the sales and purchase agreement, as we call it as SPA. And fifth is the signing of the loan agreement after approved from the bank. And sixth is the signing the memorandum of transfer. So only after done all these procedures, only we can get to the seventh, which is the vacant position and keys handover. Only finish these 7 steps, we call it a successful purchasing of residential property. After purchasing this property, we also must remind ourselves for the probability risk of the purchasing property. So that's all for our presentations. Thank you.